Don't be a narc, we'll light up your spark. It's time for nerd shit in the
Nerd shit in the dark. Nerd shit in the dark. Nerd shit in the dark.
Nerd shit in the
Nerd
dark.
shit in the dark. Dark.
Oh, I see what we're doing.
Yep, we're doing the.
I was like, what tune is this?
God. It felt like you didn't know
I
what
didn't.
tune it was. I was like, ah, shit, I've lost him already.
Yeah.
Welcome
You had
back.
too much faith in me.
I did.
Like
well,
usual.
you know, you're my buddy.
Yeah.
And I have faith in my friends and my buddies. Welcome back to Nerd Shit in the Dark, everybody.
Welcome back, everyone.
You've joined us for another special. That's
Very
going to become my
special.
thing. I hate myself when I hear it back that I'm like, special again. I'm just going to keep it up. I'm just going to steer into the skid.
Yeah.
Special episode of Nerd Shit in the Dark. If you couldn't tell from our little cold open there, much like Braden himself, who didn't notice,
I was very confused.
this is our Lord of the Rings, not Lord of the Rings special episode, but we are covering Return of the King,
Hell yeah.
my favorite movie of all time.
That's right. It's the 20th anniversary of Return of the King, and we can't think of any better way to celebrate it than to do a podcast
And
on
do
it.
an episode of Nerd Shit in the Dark, watch it, and then come back and just talk. I got a lot to talk about with this movie, but I am pumped.
Yeah, I don't think we've
pumped.
ever actually discussed any of
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings on here before.
No, well,
Even though it's
hit some, little bits and
bits and pieces,
bits and
but
pieces, but never
it's
like
both,
this.
It's both of ours.
Yeah,
One of our favorite pieces of media.
correct. It's
Well, it's like your favorite movie.
It's my favorite movie of
ever.
all time. So, like, I'm excited to get down with some of the discussion topics that I have for us after the movie to have with you. Because
Right.
we've talked about it, but it's going to be fun to talk about it on here.
Yeah.
So look out for that. That's coming not too long. But how you been?
I've been doing great.
Good. No.
Playing some new games.
Good.
Getting ready for the holidays.
Yeah.
Stressing about the gifts I haven't bought people yet.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
How many you still got to get? It's almost Christmas.
A few.
I feel, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's scary. I got ahead of that this year. I literally just pulled up. I got Miranda's like months ago. I saw it and I was like, done. Deal.
Yeah, I hate Black Friday shopping,
Yeah.
so I didn't go.
I did everything on Amazon
And
this
then
year.
I just never went.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm going to hammer that out this week.
Yeah. Takes me back. This used to be tradition where Jared and I, for the day before Father's Day, or maybe even Father's Day itself, and the day before Christmas, maybe 2 days before Christmas, he and I would go to the DuBois Mall or whatever, Walmart, and just last minute shop for our families.
Yeah.
And we would do that for years. We're a lot better about it now. We're growing up. But
One time I got my mother for Mother's Day one of those laser crystal things
Mhm.
of me. Yeah. There's a
Selfish.
picture of me in there.
Narcissist.
Yeah. Because they were making them at school.
Oh.
And so I was like, I'll get one made for me, and this will be a perfect Mother's Day gift.
Yeah.
Because what better gift to give to my mother than the gift of me,
Her son. The person that
lasered
makes her.
into a crystal?
No, that's a pretty sick. I might borrow that. So with Sora being around, most of
get
my
him lasered
Christmas
back.
gifts are just
Get him
based
lasered.
around him, and everybody's gonna love it. So easy. Hopefully for the rest of my life, I can, or at least their lives,
Yeah.
I can
I
pound
want to
this
see
out.
his little holographic face
Yeah.
staring out at me from
Yeah.
a crystal
Well, I'm
Like
gonna give it
he's
to my mom, not
in
you.
Star Wars.
Nothing.
Ah.
Yeah. So, holidays are coming up. Hanukkah's done. Now we're going toward Christmas.
Yep.
And we're gonna treat ourselves today with Lord of the Rings. So that's exciting. But
Yep. Merry Christmas to us.
Merry Christmas to us. This is kind of our Christmas special.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is,
Lord.
yeah.
Oh,
Lord,
like
it's
Jesus.
basically a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's sort of a. I view all three Lord of the Rings movies as kind of like Christmas movies.
Right.
They came out around Christmas.
Yeah.
There's that one in the first movie where they're on the mountain and there's all the snow.
Yeah.
That's kind of Christmas-like. So
The whole thing is about trying to return a gift that they didn't want.
yeah.
No,
That's true.
that's true.
Wow.
Yep. The 5 golden rings. This is some Christmas lore that most people aren't aware of.
I
The
love-
5 golden rings in 12 Days of Christmas are actually the 5 dwarven rings.
Wow.
That
yeah,
are still
yeah,
active.
because Santa's elves are actually just dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of racist that they're called elves. to be
Yeah,
honest.
because they're not like Lord of the Rings elves are tall and
Sexy.
sexy.
Yeah.
Santa's elves are small and
Yeah.
short. Like
I
a
wouldn't fuck
dwarf.
one.
Yeah. What?
I wouldn't fuck one.
No. Me neither.
Would not.
I wouldn't either.
Me neither.
Not even if I got really
I haven't
drunk
even thought about it.
and like I was desperate and times were tough.
Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
You want to go there?
No way. So, So new nerd shit.
Yeah.
I might have a couple things. I think I'm gonna cover 2 things for new nerd shit before we get into the movie. But you said you had something. I love
I
when
have
you
one main
start.
thing I want to talk about.
Then I'm gonna let you roll because mine are kind of brisk.
So I recently started God of War 3
For PlayStation 2
on Steam.
on Steam. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, that's an oldie, but a goodie.
Yep.
Or I guess God of War 3 was PS3.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's God of War 3. Are there other God of War games after 3?
There's the 2 that came out. There's God of War that came out on PS4, and then the newest one is God of War Ragnarok.
Is Ragnarok the one with the Norse?
I think God of War and God of War Ragnarok are both based in the Norse.
No, I thought that they're originally Greek.
Yeah, the original 3 are Greek, but then the new 2 that came out in the past 5 years are the Norse.
Whichever the newest one where you have the sun.
That's the newest God of War. So that's
okay, I'm
technically
playing
God
the
of War
newest
4.
So it's not God of War 3.
God of War 4. Okay. That's a great game. I
Yeah.
have that game.
Yeah.
I haven't played the newest one, but I have played that one.
So yeah, I just started it.
Yeah? You digging it?
I'm digging it. Yeah, I ran into the main villain, which I know is Baldur, but we don't know he's Baldur yet.
You fought him outside your cabin and he beat the shit out of you.
Which is a great fight.
Great fight, yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
I mean, it's the first level of the game too, and you just get that epic anime-esque fucking battle with him.
You're fucking going through mountains and cracking the ground and throwing big boulders on each other and fucking hitting them like a baseball bat with a log.
Yeah, dope start to a game.
Yeah.
How far are you? You just got done with that?
I just started, so I got done with that, and we were setting off for the mountain, and we're fighting. We just fought our first revenant.
Okay. Did you get to the part where you're in the little sailboat and you go to that big fucking sea monster in the water?
No.
Oh, that thing is sick.
Yeah.
The scale of the game is so done.
Yeah, I'm not far into it.
Okay.
But I am excited because I do like Norse mythology.
Yeah.
And I think this one's the one that's all Norse mythology, correct?
This one and the sequel Ragnarok yeah, one series.
And I had to look it up because I wanted to be able to talk about him. I wanted to look up who Baldur was because it doesn't tell you who he is initially. You just know he's a Norse god.
Right.
And I would have waited for the story to reveal that, but I wanted to be able to talk about him here today. So I looked up just to check who he was.
You spoiled it, but that's fine. I mean, you already knew.
Yeah, because I'm it's not Thor.
Right.
And it's not.
No,
It doesn't seem like Loki.
Thor is involved, and Loki is involved as well, but you'll get there.
Well, I figured they'd all be involved.
They're all involved, yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe not in just the first one, but by the time you play through, I know I've heard things about Ragnarok, so.
Yeah, because I'm waiting to see, I'm assuming Odin will show up at some point too, and I'm excited to meet all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just who is this guy? Because he seems really tough, but he doesn't seem like...
He doesn't look like he would be.
He doesn't look like he would be, you literally stand a foot taller than him.
He reminds me of Godbrand from Castlevania.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you just see, he just initially, bitch slapping Kratos, and Kratos is trying to, keep his cool because his son's in there, and then Kratos is enough, and, punches him real hard, and then, he goes down pretty easily, and you're oh, this guy's not that tough. And then he's all right, now it's my turn, and, uppercuts Kratos.
Yeah.
He just goes flying.
Yeah.
It is like an anime fight.
It is like an anime fight, yeah.
Yeah, and his whole thing is that he can't die.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's cursed to...
Because doesn't he regenerate a little in that fight?
Yeah, he regenerates, which Kratos can also regenerate, but not as well.
Not like he does, yeah.
Not like he does, where I think he literally can't die.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think Kratos can die.
I think he can too. I think he's more of a demigod for some reason in that series.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, though.
The lore's... I haven't played any other God of War games.
Because they take place after the original 3, so all that lore would take place in the first 3 God of Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because he already has, weapons and stuff that...
Dude, the axe?
The axe is great.
How much fucking fun is just chucking that axe
around?
around?
I love it.
Yeah, and you can like upgrade it throughout the game.
Yeah, recall it.
It's a pretty good time.
Yeah, I'm excited. The combat's fun.
Yep.
I might have to switch over to mouse and keyboard and not the mouse pad.
Oh, you play like that? I played it on my PlayStation, so I'm
Yeah.
just used to the controller.
Yeah, because some of the fights are pretty tough, especially when the mouse doesn't
I
always
would struggle.
register when I click the hit.
Yeah.
So I have to space dodge
Oh wow.
a lot.
Jesus, dude, I would recommend just putting the controller in,
Yeah,
but that's just me.
but yeah, I'm having a fun time with it so far. The story. It's been a while since I've played like a story oriented game.
Oh yeah, it's very story heavy.
Like the last game was like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Was like the last story oriented game I've played. Besides that, it's been mainly like strategy games or
Yeah,
co-op games.
right. Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. Yeah, I guess that's a story game.
It is a story game, but very.
Which I wonder. I'm assuming Baldur in the D&D universe is a different Baldur from our universe.
Probably, yeah.
So,
But I wouldn't.
because when I saw his
I don't
name
know
was
much.
Baldur, I'm like, oh, Baldur's Gate
Yeah, it's hard not to think that these
connection. But
days.
I don't know if there actually is a connection.
I'm sure
there.
there's probably just a
Yeah.
a coinky dink.
Yeah, because these are all actual
Yeah.
Norse gods.
Yeah, I'm sure D&D borrowed it from that,
Right.
but I don't know enough about D&D lore to,
Yeah, I think D&D does borrow stuff from actual mythology.
I'd buy it.
Oh,
Yeah,
they would definitely have to because
yeah. They didn't
a lot of
come
the
up with all
creatures
that
there
shit. Yeah,
from mythology. So,
yeah.
but I don't know how. Because I know D&D has its own gods. Like I don't think they have
Yeah, I think you're right too.
real life pantheon
yeah,
gods.
Yeah. What do you think of Atreus?
He's annoying. He's
Yeah.
annoying little shit so far. Useful with his bow.
Yeah,
But I'm excited because I love the like
character development.
character. Well, yeah, like he's right for character development because he's like a snotty little kid. Who I guess was sickly when he was young, and
Mhm.
like his father Kratos doesn't believe in him. And I'm really excited to see that relationship form up more.
Yeah.
See him be like more of a loving dad.
Yeah,
Because I know it's coming.
right.
And those are some of my
Mhm.
favorite plot points.
You like the dad. You like the tough dad. That
I like
loves
the
his
tough
son.
dad slowly warms up to the annoying kid, and they
Yeah.
protect each other.
He's trying.
Trope.
He tries. Like at the beginning, it's fun to watch Kratos, who you've only seen from the other 3 God of War games, just be a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
Now he's a dad. He's got the fucking beard. I love his beard.
His beard is great.
It's a good. I'm so glad they
It
made
makes
that.
him look very godlike.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited because I thought he was going to initially be way harsher on him,
Mhm.
but he already is
He's
kind of
trying.
like you could tell he's putting forth effort. He's not loving,
Right.
but he's also not abusive, which
Right.
I was half expecting him to be.
You would think. Yeah.
He's not.
He's not.
Yeah, he's doing his best.
Yeah. I've heard some things that go on in the second game. I'm trying to not be spoiled because I have to play it still, but that relationship continues to grow, I suppose, and there's some twists along the way. But the God of War, that first one, and I think Ragnarok as well, but I know the first one when it came out, it's like a 10 out of 10. A lot of people fucking
Yeah,
blew their loads all
I've
over
always
that game
wanted
when
to
it came out.
play the God of War games, and I
Yeah.
figured that one's.
Did you play any of the old ones?
No.
Oh, really? They're very different. They're more hack and slashy
Yeah,
than they are
I
like
figured.
that. But they're still fun. I would recommend those ones too.
But yeah, I'm excited to see. They're already hinting at like Atreus's god powers, or that like he's inherited things from his mother, which I don't know who his mother is yet. I did not look that up.
Yeah, she's from the other games.
I figured she was from
Yeah.
the other games, but she's dead in the beginning. Like it's the beginning scene
Yeah.
that
Yep,
they're
yep.
like preparing her funeral.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, for some
You
reason I
get
don't
more
know.
info as the game goes on.
I assumed
Yeah.
that's how stories tend to work.
hmm
Um,
I actually wrote it.
really,
But I had said no money, please.
yeah, no money, no credit.
I like roughing it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know me.
But yeah, we just thought we're going to this mountain to spread her ashes or something. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, you are pretty early on still.
Yeah,
The
so I'm
mountain's-
assuming like
the
that's not
mountain's
the
pretty
main
fun.
quest of the whole game.
Not entirely. Yeah.
I mean, they're
There's-
saying
there's
it's going
more
to take a while to get there.
You're
but
gonna
I
do a
can
lot
already
of cool
see the
shit along the
mountain.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, it can't take that long.
Oh,
I can
no,
already
you-
see the mountain.
You get on the mountain pretty quick. There's
Yeah.
just a lot of shit going on. Dude, you like get on the mountain and then you start like you go through like gates and doors that take you to like other I don't want to say dimensions, but practically you'll
Yeah.
understand when you get there. It's a gorgeous game.
Well, I figured
man.
it's going to be like,
gorgeous. You blowing that shit up on your 70-inch TV in your basement?
No.
Because you should, man. That game is gorgeous.
Huh? I'll have to figure out how to do that.
Put an HDMI cord in your computer and stick it in your TV.
Well, there you go.
Done and done.
Well, I'm assuming it's because isn't in Norse mythology there's like 9 layers or like 9 worlds or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's that.
It's pretty though. They all have like a different aesthetic, and I'm excited to hear you finish this game and tell me some more shit that you like about it.
Isn't Earth one of them?
I don't remember.
Midgard. Yeah, Earth is Midgard.
Yeah. So that's where it's like already taking place at, right? Isn't that where it starts?
I don't know where we are.
Oh, I think you are in Midgard at the beginning.
We must be in Midgard. I mean, there's still like, we fought a troll. And...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are. I haven't played it in a couple years, but because it came out in 2018, I want to say.
They've hinted at frost giants, which I'm excited to see some of those.
You're going to see some shit.
Because I like Norse mythology, but I don't. It's probably one of the pantheons I'm least familiar with. But I had Percy Jackson growing up, so I know a lot about Greek and Roman mythology.
I hear that show's not too bad to start with, the new one on Disney+.
I haven't watched it.
People seem to have good reviews about it, but that's not what we're talking about. I just wanted to throw that in there.
But shout out to the Percy Jackson series
on
Disney+.
I've heard good things. I haven't watched it myself, nor have I read the books, so I don't know much about it.
I've read the books.
I've seen the first movie, I think.
The movies are bad.
I've heard.
Yeah, these are bad.
But I'm excited to watch the Disney Plus show, and that be my experience with Percy Jackson.
Yeah, I think that would be better.
I don't plan on reading the books, but that's just me.
Because this is like their second shot at the franchise, so usually they correct the
and this will
mistakes.
Tell me how Disney Plus, because if Disney Plus can handle Percy Jackson pretty well, I feel like because they're doing Aragon, they're doing the inheritance cycle on Disney Plus. So if they can nail this, I think they can. That's another one that needs.
That's another one. That's movie was so bad that
ruined everything.
Ruined any chance of it getting rebooted for like the next 10 years.
So try 20. I was in the 9th grade when that fucking movie came out, dude.
Yeah. I remember when it came out and I liked it, but I was also probably like 7 years old.
I fucking hated it because I already read the book. So it was just like, it's such a shit. It's like the guy read the front cover and was like, all right, let's make a movie.
Yeah.
But I digress. So God of War, you're playing it. I think you're going to really enjoy it by the end.
Yep.
It's a masterpiece game. Sick.
Yeah. So that's my new nerd shit.
You want to pass me that baton?
I'll pass it. Oh, wait.
Whoa, it's Christmas themed.
Go long.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, you see that? Oh,
I
man.
saw it. That was really intense.
Dude, I fell.
You completely shoved your Miranda over to get that.
My Miranda is on the ground, but I have the Christmas pole baton. It's Christmas themed. Full torque. So my new nerd shit, I got a couple, but since we're on the theme of video games, I'm going to talk to you about this game that I started playing. And I'm sure you've heard of it. It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
Have you played it?
No.
Yeah. So Nos once again recommend. This is another Nos recommendation.
Another like Dark Souls-y kind of game, isn't it?
Sort of, but no. Like you don't die and have to go collect your shit and things like that. You die and like just go back to your save point.
Or like the enemy's really tough.
So I'd say the fighting style is kind of Dark Souls-y, but I'll get to that. It was on sale on the PlayStation Store for like $20, so I bought it. Because why not? I've heard good things about it. Nos fucking loves this game. So I was like, let's go. And so the game is essentially, it takes place, I don't really know exactly I think they give you a date at the beginning. I think it's like in the 1600s or something. But it's like Japan. It's like the samurais against the Mongols.
Was it like a certain period?
I think so.
It was like the Edo period or something?
Yeah, it might have been. I can't remember. At the beginning, I wasn't really reading. I was just like, come on, I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
But it's you versus the Mongols, and like you're from Tsushima, which is like the area that your clan, like, I could be butchering this honestly because I'm paying very little attention to the story because the game's so fun. The story's also good. I'm just like, we'll get there. So the Mongols come at the beginning of the game and like kill off your like clan basically and kidnap your uncle. And it's so, I love how the main, like, because like the samurai, they're so full of pride, they're so full of honor, they want to fight like clean battles, and like the game begins with like the leader of your clan going to like face this guy, and the Mongol dude just like fucking throws oil on him and then lights him on fire.
Oh,
and this guy's like, ah! So like the Mongols play dirty out the gate, and they just kill this guy, kidnap your uncle. You get like thrown off a bridge or some shit, and then the game continues. You get your sword, and because you're like the heir to the clan, and you're technically the leader of the clan at this point because your dad died before the game even started. And you're on this mission to rescue your uncle from the Mongols who are like taking over this area. And so you're collecting like other samurai. It's so cool how you go about like missions in this game. So it's played like behind the back, third person, samurai style. You get a horse and it's open worldy, so you just travel and do missions, and you're going to collect people to kind of help you on this mission to beat the Mongols. So like one of the missions is like you go to this one samurai who doesn't want to be a samurai anymore, and it's set up like old samurai movies where it's like the tale of Hu Yong Song, and it like comes up on the screen, and whenever you complete missions, it's just like, you know, the story's over, but it does it in like little tales, and it's fucking fun, man. The battle system, it's kind of Dark Soulsy, but I don't know, it's really, you have like your block, and you have your sword, and it's hack and slashy. But like you gotta think, like they'll come at you with the spears, you gotta like dodge and parry and all that kind of stuff. It just feels so smooth. And it's gruesome. You're swinging your sword, you're cutting people up. You have hard attacks, you have light attacks. You can get throwing knives. So that's been fun. People come at you, you can bash them right in the head.
Do those followers help you?
So yeah, along
the way,
or are they
just like a story element?
They're like a story element. I haven't got to the point where, like, in those stories that you're doing, they'll be with you on your missions and shit. I think eventually you're getting them to like build this army to go fight the Mongols at the end.
Right.
So they kind of only help you on the missions you do with them. They don't follow you after the fact, but that's okay. I love just getting on my horse because you'll just be running through the woods and like there's a group of Mongols that you'll have to fight, and you can do a standoff with them where you hit up on the D-pad and you just get on like a one-on-one, kind of like a fucking old Western shooter with them, and you hold triangle, and then as soon as they go to swing, you let go of triangle and you just fucking slice them in half.
Oh, nice.
You feel like a samurai playing this game, and I've been having I'm not super far into it, but man, am I having a good time playing it. And all the story arcs, like all the little tales, they're really good. Like,
yeah.
You don't always save, like some of the missions are like, go find this person, and like, so you don't always save everybody. Like sometimes you do, but like sometimes like, oh, this guy that you're helping, and guess what? The Mongols actually killed his whole fucking family.
Oh, wow.
What are you gonna do?
So yeah,
it's dark.
Not predictable.
Not predictable. You know, you're not always gonna win, even though you beat the mission.
I like that. That's a sign of a good story.
Yeah. People get their comeuppance.
I have a fun fact.
Okay.
So during Kublai Khan's time, who was
this guy's the Mongol in this is like a relative of his.
Okay. Yeah, because Kublai Khan, I think, he was either the nephew or the grandson of Genghis Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And
let me get the name on this guy, but go ahead.
Yeah, and he attempted to invade Japan once, but on the way over, like 70% of his fleet was wiped out by a tsunami or like a monsoon that was out of season. Like it wasn't supposed, like it was very rare for monsoons to happen.
Divine intervention.
Or it might have been a typhoon. A big storm wiped it out. And then they waited a few more years to like rebuild and did it again. And this time, like 80% of his fleet was wiped out again by a freak typhoon that was out of season.
Jeez, fool me once.
Yeah, and so they never attempted to invade again after that. And that is where the term kamikaze comes from, because it means divine wind.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sometimes learn things on this podcast. It's not all about just talking about nerd shit.
That's right. And then kamikaze was appropriated during World War II for like the suicide attacks.
Mm-hmm. So the villain's name in this, he is Khotan Khan. He is the cousin of Kublai Khan and the grandson of Genghis Khan.
Okay.
So that's the guy that fucking lights the dude on fire right at the beginning of the game. So it's just like, oh man, these guys are not fucking around.
Yeah.
You fight him on like a bridge also at the beginning of the game and he just beats your ass. But I'm totally into this game. I love the battle style. I told Gnosis, so I was like, the climbing element in this game is absolute dog shit. Like whenever you have to climb shit, it could be better.
Well, you're a samurai, not a ninja.
That's true. And like, it's funny because you can do assassinations, but like the first time I did one, there was like a cutscene to you with your uncle, and he was like, "Samurai, don't do this." I was like, "But Chase Creekback gonna do this. I'm gonna assassinate people as much as I can."
Not your mother's samurai.
Right.
I'm a cool samurai.
You damn fucking tootin'. There's a bow. You get a bow and arrow at one point, so you can do long distance, and you kind of gotta like work with the wind and work with the drop. Cool. So that's.
I love bullet/arrow physics in games.
And that's totally in the wind is a very like you use the wind to like guide you, but like what the wind does affects your gameplay.
The kamikaze.
Well. Kind of, yeah. So that's really like Nos said like, oh, the bow is so satisfying, and I'm like, you're right. When you get like a headshot kill with the bow, or if you kill anybody immediately with a bow shot, you are just like, oh fuck yeah,
feels good.
You get experience points, you get points to like build you. You can get different sword styles, you can get different like techniques. I know like I just recently changed my throwing stars into like you throw like some sort of oil or something at people and blow them up as like
That's
your
fun.
throwing thing. Yeah, I'm still pretty early on as well into this game, but it's
Pretty gory, you said?
pretty gory. Yeah, you're slashing people up all
I
over
love
the
it.
place. Yeah, it's a beautiful game. Like I've been playing it on my Portal for the most part, and it looks pretty good on that. But like just yesterday, I played it on my actual monitor on my PS5. Fucking gorgeous game, dude. Very beautiful. Plays super smooth. Couldn't recommend it enough. You just get on your horse, which I named Sora. You get the choice of 3 names, and one of them is Sora. So I was like, hell yeah, Sora.
You named your horse after a video game character?
I did. I did. My favorite video game character.
Seems dumb.
Well, you know me. I'm not the smartest of people. But yeah, like it's easy to get hurt all the time. Like I said, the sword fighting it's a very refreshing take on video game sword fighting because you think you could just hack and slash, but people defend and you have to block. Like you got to parry and block a lot in this game. You can't just
It's almost like you're learning how to actually sword fight.
kind of, yeah, or at least think like a samurai.
Yeah.
So that's a real fun part of it. I like it. Nas recommended it, and I was like, he's been talking to me about it for years. It came out in 2020, and I do intend. It sucks 'cause I never finished Spider-Man 2, but I'm gonna play the shit out of this game because it's pretty cool. And I'm in a big samurai phase right now. Like we just finished the first new season of Rurouni Kenshin. And I'm a big Rurouni Kenshin fan, and I'm playing this game, so I'm just like really into samurai.
You're in your
shit
samurai era.
Yeah, where I was in my dragon era in the last episode, I'm in my samurai. I don't know if you know this about me, but Japan has a big influence on who I am as a person. Japan's kind of got me by the balls.
Well, yeah, Japanese anime used to be a whole half of our show.
Right, we had to cut it.
Before we had cut it.
But it's funny I say that too because the other thing I want to talk about just real quick in new nerd shit before we watch Return of the King is an anime that I watched on Netflix.
Here we go with the weeb shit.
Yeah, but I'm going to do it well. It's not just going to be us talking about the latest chapter that nobody knows because they don't read it.
Right.
I'm going to talk about it. But the show that I wanted to talk about, it's called Pluto. Did I talk to you about this at all yet?
No.
I wanted to text you about it, but I wasn't sure if I had already
Pluto.
told you. It's called Pluto. It's on
Like
Netflix.
the non-planet?
No, like the actual planet. Because a dwarf person's a real person, so a dwarf planet's a real planet, right?
Right.
Right. So, Pluto is this anime on Netflix. It's 8 episodes. They're all about an hour long. But what it is it's based on the manga Pluto, which came out in the early 2000s. It's the first story arc from the original Astro Boy series, but recontextualized as a murder mystery series.
Interesting.
Dude, it's so fucking good, man. It's so fucking good. Because I don't know if you know a whole lot about Astro Boy. Which
I don't
know a whole lot. I know enough about Astro Boy. I used to watch it when I was a kid, but like...
I've seen a few episodes when I was real young.
Yeah. This is a very adult-oriented... Not like anybody's having sex or anything, but like it's dark. It's, like I said, a murder mystery. It's very character-driven. I don't know how to talk too much about it without spoiling much. Like I said, each episode's about an hour long, and it kind of cruises. A lot happens in a lot of episodes. I think the manga was 8 volumes, so they did a volume per episode. It's gorgeously animated. I don't know the studio that did it, but it is a very pretty anime as well. Not a lot of fighting. It's not a very there is fighting in it. There is action, but it's more like Death Note, where like you're trying to solve the mystery. It's very
Astro Boy is in it?
Astro Boy, so yeah, he's one of the robots. So the original story of like the first story arc of Astro Boy was like the 8 super robots or whatever from that lore, and Pluto is the villain. So the show's named after the villain of the series, Pluto, which is Astro Boy's like first villain.
But it's not from Pluto's perspective.
It's not from Pluto's perspective, no. But he is the villain, and you start to learn things about him. Like I said, dude, the first episode. You meet, like, the main character, Gazekt, because Astro Boy's really not...
Because how about Gazount?
Astro Boy's really not... His name is Adam, because in Japan, the series is called The Mighty Adam, and it changed to Astro Boy in America. So his name is Adam, because now we're better about that here in America.
Yeah.
I watched the dub You know, for an hour. I'm not going to read for an hour. I'll read for 20 minutes, but I'm going to watch an anime through its dub. And it was dubbed super well. You mainly follow the detective, though. His name is Gazekt. He's one of the, like, super powerful robots. And there's a mystery with him as well. There's mysteries within mysteries in this. So you're just constantly finding new shit out. But like every episode kind of goes into the story of one of these super robots. And man, I mean, half of the first episode, you are just following this like beautiful story between one of the robots and this old man. And the whole time I was watching it, I
And
was
they're in
just
love?
like, what?
They're in love?
They're not in love, no.
Oh.
But the old man actually hates robots, so you kind of watch them become like friends with each other, and it's just beautiful. You don't know why this is happening. You're like, how does this pertain to everything that was going on in the beginning of the first episode? And then it kind of ties it in at the end.
But you were there for it.
I was so there for it, man. I fucking love this show. And I hated because I started it before Sora was born, so I had to like wait till I got back to work to finish it. Didn't matter. I cruised through the rest of it. It it has a nice finite ending.
Where'd you say you watched it?
It's on Netflix.
It's on
Netflix. It's a
Netflix.
Netflix show. Yeah, 8 episodes.
Watching a lot of things on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Well, things on Netflix and Disney Plus.
Nice. Yeah.
We restarted One Piece,
Oh wow.
showing Kaylee One Piece,
Oof.
a live action.
Oh. Okay. That's an easy undertaking.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, you got to see
8
this.
episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then watching Andor. She's also never
of
seen
course.
Andor.
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. So I'm like, you got, because she was one of the ones who like lost faith after some of the other shows didn't do well, so
Oh.
she never gave Andor.
Oh,
I
wow.
almost said Andor a
Never
chance.
give Andrew that chance.
And I
he
was like,
deserves.
no, you want to give Andor a chance.
You need to give Andor a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. Kaiten sent me a video of a guy that was talking about like modern Star Wars, and he was kind of shitting on most of it, but he like got to Andor and like, I was like, I could talk to somebody jerking Andor off, or I could listen to somebody.
Was it Drew Gooden?
I have no idea who this
Was
guy
he
was.
blonde?
Maybe. Yeah.
Was he white?
Yeah.
Was he talking about the state of Star Wars
Kind of.
and how there's too much
I
of
didn't
it?
agree with his Ahsoka takes, but I couldn't like completely
Because
disagree
I've seen
with them
that
either.
video, if that's the one you're talking
Let
about.
me see. Drew Gooden. Yep, it's him. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that video too.
Yeah. I don't agree with his Ahsoka takes, but
I did.
I didn't. His Ahsoka takes were a little bit too much people who read what other people say on the internet. He didn't make his opinion up for himself kind of talk, but that's fine. There's a lot of those people out there.
I was just very bored.
Yeah.
And
Good
Ahsoka.
video. I liked it. I mean, his points on everything else I really agreed with, especially Andor. His Ahsoka ones, I was like, yes and no. Because you know me with Star Wars. Star Wars is not Christopher Nolan. We just got lucky that we got one that kind of is.
Right.
But Astro Boy, Pluto, very Death Note-y vibes with just like the kind of dark and mystery. So if you're into like wanting to watch an anime like that, I totally recommend it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll give it a shot.
And you kind of get into
8
like,
episodes, you say?
8 episodes, all about an hour long. And it's fun because, like I said, Astro Boy is literally like the grandfather of anime. It's the first like real shonen anime. So to see like a recreation of it in a very dark, kind of nuanced way.
I like reimagining old things
Yeah,
in new ways.
it's pretty cool. And like the whole time you're just waiting for... Because he doesn't do very much Astro Boy. Honestly, it's Gazict who's more the main character of this. But when you finally see him do some Astro Boy, and you're like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Fucking
There's
Astro Boy it
Astro
up.
Boy. Adam. Yeah, so check it out. Totally would recommend it.
I'll
Super
give it a
easy
shot.
watch if you have time for it. So that's
Is that
all.
your last?
That's all I got.
You know what that means?
I do know what that means, dude.
It's time.
It's time to celebrate our boy's birthday.
Let's fucking throw this ring in a volcano. Oh.
Whoa, spoilers. Let's try to throw this ring in the volcano.
Right.
Winky face.
Winky face.
All right. So, everybody, I'm going to let you all go for a minute. Just a minute. We're going to watch a very special movie that's near and dear to my heart and Braden's, probably. And,
It is.
good.
Yeah.
And we'll be back. Toodles.
No news of Frodo.
No word. Nothing.
We have time. Every day Frodo moves closer to Mordor.
Do we know that?
What does your heart tell you?
That Frodo is alive.
All right. We have just completed watching Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
And boy, did he.
And boy, did he. Yeah, he came back hard.
Yeah. Never been more excited to see someone crowned king.
No. Oh, we'll get to that. Words can't describe. This was your first time seeing it? The movie?
Yes, my first time ever.
Right.
Now, this is probably like my 20th or 30th time seeing it
Definitely,
fully.
yeah. Seriously.
Seen it on and off over the years.
I could not even begin to tell you a number on that. Just know it's a lot. Where to begin?
Where to begin?
Where to begin?
Suppose at the very beginning.
I suppose at the very beginning. I'm just going to repeat you. You're just going to keep saying stuff and I'm going to repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the movie opens with what should have been titular character, Spiegel.
Mhm.
It's the first line in the movie, as you say. And it's him. It's Andy Serkis.
Yep. Just as himself.
Just as himself, which I
Yeah.
did not realize initially. I figured it out like on my 15th watch through when
Oh,
I
wow.
started to realize what Andy Serkis looks like
Sure, yeah.
as I was getting older.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, I didn't know that was what Andy Serkis actually
Yeah,
looked
you would
like.
have been quite young when this movie came out.
I thought it was two different people that they had play him.
That's fair.
But yeah, he gets the ring, and here we are.
And here we are. Yeah, it's a fun way to open up the movie, I think. I love that the movie could have started a million and one other ways. I like that they focus on Smeagol as being how they want to start this movie off. You've heard the story of Smeagol throughout the other two movies,
Right.
and this one opens with like, here's this guy, here's what this thing did to him, to which ultimately he's the one that destroys it by default.
Right.
So that's cool. I like that. I think that was a very smart choice by Peter Jacksons.
Yeah, because like you said, we already know roughly what happened to him, but that helps us just put more into perspective what he used to be, and makes it even more tragic when you see him how he is now,
Mhm.
and how he did used to be a semi-normal guy.
Yeah.
Although the Gollum thing was a thing before he got the ring.
Mhm.
See, was made fun of a lot for the throat problem he had.
Yeah.
He had like a lot of phlegm, I guess. He was a really phlegmy guy.
He looks like a phlegmy guy.
Yeah, he
Like,
does look
Andy
phlegmy.
Serkis, the way they kind of dress him up, kind of looks like
Looks
a
kind of phlegmy
phlegmy guy.
and mucusy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if we really talked about it much, but we decided to watch this today in celebration. 20 years. 20 years ago
years.
today, this movie was released.
I was
December
7 years
17th.
old,
Yeah, I was in 6th grade, so I think I was 11 years old.
and there weren't many movies that could hold my attention beyond Star Wars at that point when
Yeah.
I was 7 years old. but
Right.
that
Especially
would
for
got
so
me.
long. It's a long fucking movie.
Yeah.
And it really cruised it. I think it really depends on your setting. It depends on what you're doing while you're watching it. But like for us today, I felt like that movie cruised.
Yeah.
Probably because we were chatting, having a good time while we were watching it instead of just strictly focusing in on the movie.
We were at the halfway point before we even knew it.
I know, it was shocking. What is your favorite scene in the movie?
Well, that is a good question.
I know. 'Cause
So-
the movie is riddled with good fucking scenes.
I'll start with what my favorite scene in the book is, and then compare it to the movie. So my favorite scene of all times in all the books is when Sam fights Shelob.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that scene is still fantastic in the movies. I don't know if it's my favorite scene in the movies.
Okay.
Because the movies has so many other awesome scenes.
Yeah, too many. But it is a good scene.
Well, honestly, it might be kind of cheating, but it's the truth. But like the initial charge of the Rohirrim and like everything that built up to that, it's probably my favorite
Your
scene.
favorite scene is Rohirrim charging in?
Because that's the scene where it like gets me the most hype
Mhm.
in the movie. Like there's other hype moments, but that's like peak hype for me.
That's a good moment.
Yeah.
I don't blame you
Where I
for
feel the
feeling
most
that way.
inspired. Like
Yeah.
anytime I watch the movie, that still gets my heart
Yeah,
pumping.
the lighting in the scene. Yeah, you're right. The build up to them finally getting there, along with the speech, along with the cheering,
Yeah.
along with the chart, and then they just fucking
It's
plow
crash
through all
into
those orcs.
Fucking
Yeah.
mowed
That
them,
scene's pretty awesome.
mow them down like butter. Like they would have won the battle. They mentioned how they have 6,000 spears, and that's less than half of what he hoped for.
Mhm.
And Aragorn said that that's not going to be able to break the lines of Mordor, which he was right. But also, if they didn't have those elephants,
Mhm.
they probably could have won that battle.
They probably could have did a
Probably
pretty
would
good
have been
fucking
enough to
job.
break the lines of Mordor.
Yeah.
They shellacked the orcs that were there.
Yeah.
It wasn't until
Until the elephants came in. And they
the
were
elephants
like,
came
oh,
in.
fuck.
Yeah.
I guess you could also throw in that, like, at that point, neither were the Nazgul really involved either. So maybe once they started coming, it could have made it a little harder.
Yeah.
But the elephants definitely fucked things up.
Yeah.
But even still, those elephants come in, and it doesn't seem all hopeless. I mean, there's still that scene where he fucking spears the guy, and that guy falls over, and the elephant kills another. 2 elephants are like they are putting up a hell of a fight,
Right.
for just what they are.
You think it's hopeless, especially because the elephants are like specially designed to destroy cavalry. Like they have like ropes tied between their tusks to just whip around and mow down anyone.
Yeah.
Because I questioned the tactical decision making of Theoden of wanting to do like a straight head-on charge at the elephants that have anti-horse weaponry and tusks.
Yeah.
But they come around to it.
They make a plan in the moment because they start cutting the legs. They're kind of doing the AT-AT scene from Star Wars in their own way.
It was kind of like the AT-AT scene in Star Wars.
They don't rope them, but they're attacking the legs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something I've always done. No, I think that scene is like heavily inspired by like a lot of Star Wars things because like they're like AT-ATs. They take them down like AT-ATs, and the way they film just Legolas taking down, like the way they're up on that thing kind of looks like Jabba's palace too.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like a mixture of the two. I don't know if there's any inspiration that Peter Jackson got when he was filming those scenes to make them, because even the Wilhelm scream takes place during Legolas. Like a guy gets thrown, why does the scream, which is in the Jabba move, like part of the Star Wars.
Which, to be fair, that Wilhelm screams
right,
a lot.
They use it a lot, but they had stopped using it as much by the time Return of the King comes out. So I do feel like there's something.
I want to believe that there's some kind of homage in there.
Maybe. That's just my own
nothing
shit.
Confirmed though.
Nothing confirmed.
But yeah, even like the way the one.
But if it is true, you heard it here.
Even like the way some of the elephants die remind me of the AT-ATs, like how they fall down, kind of like
front legs,
front heavy.
Yep. Definitely. So I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah, great.
Legolas slides down one of their trunks like he's Tarzan.
It only counts as one. Great scene. But
what's your favorite scene?
Yeah, that is a big question. And that I've seen this movie a lot. And I think it changes as I get older. It changes bits and pieces here and there. So let me go down a list of like what used to be my favorite scenes.
Okay.
And then we'll get to what is my favorite scene. So what used to be, one of the scenes that was my favorite that got me the most hype is literally the moment that Frodo gets jabbed by Shelob and starts getting tied up, and Sam shows up with the light of an Elenthiel.
Yeah.
And has Sting. And just the way the camera let him go, you feel. And the music plays.
Yeah, the hero music.
Because, like Sam's my boy. Sam is my favorite character of all of Lord of the Rings. And he just like, that's kind of not entirely the crescendo of his arc in the books or in the movies, but it is a big moment when he comes back after getting ditched by Frodo and saves his friend, essentially.
It's where he kind of becomes like the true protagonist.
Yeah.
Or like that's his big protagonist moment.
Yeah. He goes from being, not only is he a good friend and a solid companion, but when the odds are stacked, he is going to defend you and he's going to kick some ass. Sam proceeds to kick a lot of ass in that fight and then going forward. So that was an old favorite scene of mine.
Yeah, I was going to say my theory with why hobbits manage to overpower things a lot bigger than them is because they're just not used to fighting something so tiny and they don't expect them to actually be able to fight.
Makes sense.
They usually get to and they're also quick and nimble. Yeah. So they're able to stab them before they even know what's going on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, yeah. So that was one of my old favorite scenes. I'm trying to think of other favorite scenes of mine before I get to my main one. I mean, I love a lot of symbolism because that scene is also sort of, I like the symbolism that's behind Sam showing up in that moment. So I also like the lighting of the beacons. I feel like at one point in time, I don't know if it was ever my favorite, but it's a big one for me. Just like the score, the symbolism of it, and then just the build up from when Aragorn finally sees it. He runs in to tell Theoden, and there is this pause that you as a viewer are kind of on the edge of your seat. Like, what is he going to say? The last thing we heard this guy say is, I'm not helping those motherfuckers ever.
Yeah.
And then you were rewarded with just this epic moment of him being just like, and Rohan shall answer. And the music starts playing, and you're like, because he's more honorable than that. And he's going in to help in this fucking fight for the end of the world. Love it.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings is, in my opinion, good with less is more.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to say a big speech.
Yeah.
Or their big speeches don't have to be super long.
Mm-hmm.
But they can be very effective.
Very impactful.
One-liners.
Mm-hmm. My favorite scene in the movie, as of today, I think it hits me differently every time I watch it. It is the scene that when Aragorn is crowned and he gets to the hobbits, and they go to bow to him.
Yeah, I think I knew that.
And he stopped. I think I get more emotional the older I get. The last time when I watched it with Sam, I was basically in tears. I remember the first time I watched it high, I was in tears. Yeah, I just fucking love that scene so goddamn much. And like they all bow to everybody in Minas Tirith just bows to the hobbits, and they're all just standing there like they're so humble.
It's like the emotional climax of the movie.
For sure. And you all know, you've seen what these hobbits have been through to get to this point. And even Aragorn knows. He's just like, you motherfuckers
Yeah.
did way more than anything anybody ever expected of you, and we would not be here if it wasn't for you. And he fucking bows to the lowest creatures on the Middle Earth. You know, the hobbits. Oh.
Yep.
People didn't even know they existed for
Yeah.
ages. Ay, ay, ay. So, yeah. That's my favorite scene. It's not like, once again, symbolism. There are crazy good action scenes throughout this whole movie, which we are going to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's those little moments that just have always, since I was in the 6th grade and I saw this movie, resonated with me. I love this fucking movie.
Yeah. That's also one of my favorite scenes. Not my most favorite,
Right.
but it's up there.
It's a top one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we said it at the beginning of the movie. The way Viggo Mortensen delivers his lines, even
It's
from
perfect.
the most subtle to the biggest. He was born for this role. He was what does your heart tell you? It's such a nothing line, but it's so good. You feel it. Everything, the direction of the scene, the filmography, the music, everything with everything he's ever saying. So good.
Yeah.
It's so
you
good.
listen to him.
Of course you do.
With anything
you
he says.
believe him. Fuck.
You're on his side.
So good. I think this movie has a lot in common with the Step Up movies too, in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Was it when the orc band started busting out their color guard?
Yeah. And the orcs started dancing.
Yeah.
And Gondor was like, "Where are our dancers?" And the dancers came in and they had a quick dance off.
Yeah.
No.
Pippin and Merry there.
Yeah. They sang. No. It's the fact that every actor in the movie is 100% serious about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just like in the Step Up. And that's what sells it, because you have to be, for both of those movies to work, even though they're vastly different movies, you have to be, as an actor, so serious about everything going on. Because it is goofy in a way.
Right.
Nobody talks like they do in The Lord of the Rings in real life, but you believe it because those actors sell it.
That's what I was thinking when I was listening. When you hear some of the dialogue, no one talks like this at all. Even with the elves, the elves talk really slowly. Galadriel talks really slowly.
Yeah.
But it's all sold so well
Yeah.
that I'm like, yeah, that's how they talk.
Yeah.
They're fucking noble and shit.
They sure are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you buy it and you believe it, and it sets the tone. I thought of that at the beginning of the movie during this watch. I was like, they're very serious. Kind of like how the Step Up people were.
Yeah.
Very different, though.
And I'm amazed the general audiences at the time took to that dialogue so quickly. But I think it is because it's just performed so well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that point in time, especially by the time you reach the third movie, like you've kind of already bought into all of it by the first and second. You know it. By the time you walked into Return of the King, you knew what you were in for.
Yeah,
At
and you
least
want them to be
how
epic like
people
that.
are.
Because they don't. They're not supposed to talk like us. Like they would talk more epically. They're fucking knights fighting monsters.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like it's how people just speak in fantasies, and you just go with it.
Yeah.
Not only did general audiences respond well to it, but critically, this movie it is currently one of 3 movies that hold the record for most Oscar wins. Not just nominate. It got a lot of nominations, but I believe it won, I want to say 11.
Yeah, it swept.
Yeah, 11, including Best Picture in 2004.
Do you know what it was up against for other Oscars? Like what other movies were coming out?
I probably could.
Because I would like to think like what movies had to compete with The Return of the King on opening weekend.
So the movies that were nominated, at least against Return of the King, for Best Picture that year was a movie called Lost in Translation, and then another movie called Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. Another movie was called Mystic River, and then the final movie that was nominated was Seabiscuit.
Guess what?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of those.
Dude, I haven't even heard of most of those except Seabiscuit.
I've heard of Seabiscuit, not seen it.
Yeah, I've seen Seabiscuit. I've heard of it. The other 3, no idea. So, I don't know. Maybe they didn't have a big competition that year. I'd like to believe they did. 2003, I feel like if I really thought about it, there's some big movies that year, but
Yeah, I feel like
Fantasy was
would've blown
never
a-
even nominated.
they would have blown away anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that movie. No matter what it was up against, it was taking it. It's just a shame that it sounds like it was kind of up against nothing movies. But that's just one of its 11 awards. So that's what I mean. This was a movie that paved the way for here we are today with everything. Movie-wise, at least fantasy. Like, they made
Right.
fantasy
Show that you
awesome.
can do
And
big blockbuster movies
Yeah.
with fantasy elements.
It was during a time where that was kind of becoming a more prominent thing. I think Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings movies, they started at the same time. So they kind of helped each other out a little in that fashion. Like there were these two very big, very
popular.
important, popular book-themed fantasy movies that were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one was targeted more for adults,
Mhm.
although Lord of the Rings kids can watch it
Yeah.
and did watch it,
It sure did.
and the other was targeted towards kids.
Correct. Yeah.
But even then, 7-year-old me, I remember being excited for The Return of the King coming out.
Yeah. How could you not be?
That's something I remember.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. I had no context of
Yeah.
the greater Tolkien lore at that point.
Sure, yeah.
I thought the battle scenes were just fucking sick, and I wanted to see if they were going to get rid of this ring or not.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I was a little older by the time Return of the King came out, so I knew a little bit, but it was just a solid movie. I don't think I knew at the time that it was going to be such an important movie to my future at the time.
Yeah.
But, man,
Because that's the thing. We were kids.
Yeah.
Still, you were what, 13?
I was 11 when Return of the King came.
11? I'm bad at math.
Yeah,
So you would have been 11.
6th grade.
I would have been 7. We basically. Wait, I lost my train of thought. Cut this.
I will.
Yeah. So you were 11. I was 7. Fuck, what was I going to say? I was trying to make a point about us being kids. I think the edible's actually is kicking.
Okay. You can do this. You got this. Don't
All
worry,
right.
man. I can cut.
You were 11.
Figure it out.
I was 7. What were we talking about before this?
The Oscars, when it came out, how we felt when we were watching it.
Right, that kids can
Kids
enjoy
can
it too.
enjoy it too. You didn't know what was going on.
I didn't know what
I
was going
kind of
on.
knew what was going on because I was a little older.
You kind of knew what was going on because you're a little older.
You asked me how old I was when I saw it. You said I was 13. I said I was 11. You said you were bad at math.
I was bad at math. Yeah. So you were 11. I was 7.
As you said.
Oh no!
Oh, God. I feel like it
It's
would have been
completely
good,
lost
too.
it.
You lost it completely.
I thought it was. I don't know if it was great. The point I was gonna make, but I thought it was something.
Oh, man. I want to hear it because now it's going to be weird if we move on because we were kind of having a conversation there.
just kind of
Just
just
get the
like
whole thing out of it.
completely. No. So you were 11. I was 7.
Right.
We were just kids.
We sure were.
Yeah. And we still enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. We enjoyed it. I mean, we were watching the movie and it was bloody. It's scary.
Yeah.
I feel like for a 7-year-old, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
That's a scary movie.
And like I said, I had no outer context of the lore. I
Yeah.
had no idea what was going on,
You just had seen the other ones.
but I loved it. I loved what I was seeing, even though it technically wasn't for me because I didn't really read big books at that time.
No.
I was just starting to get into Harry Potter.
Yeah. I still say it would have been for you, whether you read that kind of shit or not.
Yeah, and that's just a testament to how good it is that it can transcend those things to where something I normally probably wouldn't understand or get, I was like all in, even though it took me a long time to actually learn the outside lore. And I after multiple watches of the movie throughout my childhood,
Yeah.
for me to actually be old enough to want to read the books
Mm.
and figure out what actually is going on.
Yeah. Which they do get a lot more deeper into in the books. I also think Lord of the Rings is one of the few movies, especially Return of the King, where they, I hate to say change from the book, but they do. They change things from the book and people don't care.
Yeah.
Because it worked and it was still really good in this movie, so they didn't care.
That's why it's baffling that this adaptation turned out so well, because this was another one that they were like, you can't do this right.
Yeah.
Or it'd be too big, especially the
Crazy
scale.
how many movies there are through history. Not to interrupt you on that point, I don't want you to lose it.
Right.
But that people felt that way about that turned out to be the biggest movies of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
So many times. But even just you have to nail the scale. Like it would be very expensive, and there's no guarantee that audiences would be into it. And didn't they also make all 3 back to back.
They filmed them all at once, yeah.
Or filmed them all at once.
Yeah.
So it was like a huge gamble that this was going to pay off and people were going to resonate with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so just, the miracle of how big it got was crazy.
To
and
this
it's because
very
they're just
day.
good movie. They knew what they had.
Yeah. They had a guy who had a vision for it.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, dude, I can't think back to, because I didn't ever experience it, where all there was the books, and that's all I knew about Lord of the Rings, and then seeing these movies come to life before your eyes. I mean, everything is so beautiful. Imagine just picturing Mordor through the books, the way it's written about in the books, and then finally you get to see it. It worked. Like, that's fucking more. When they're in Mount Doom, holy fuck. That's
crazy.
it, dude. That's it. When they're in Rivendell, when they're in Minas Tirith, every setting in all of these movies, especially this one, holy fuck, they nail it so fucking hard, dude.
Yeah.
These movies rock. Oh my god. The Shire. Oh my god.
This was the point where like CGI was starting to get better, and like the CGI in it, even though some of it's dated,
I think it holds up.
It holds up
Yeah.
massively.
For the most part. You can see moments and little bits.
Yeah.
But because it holds up everywhere else, you don't really give a fuck. Gollum is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah. And, like, even the behind the scenes stuff of creating Gollum is fascinating with how much work they had to put into that whole look.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, it worked. Like, you didn't feel like you were looking at something digitized or computerized.
No.
It felt like something in that world with them. Even like when Sam would hit him, like those punches and like his acting just sell that effect so much. Like it felt like he was making contact with a thing that's there.
There's nothing that seems... The only moment of like weak CGI that I can even think of that I notice anymore, it's really only a couple. And I think some of it is actually just deleted scenes for the most part. But the one that's not a deleted scene, when Legolas slides off the elephant, you can kind of see it there.
That's where,
little green screeny.
That and when...
But it's fine.
In the beginning, when Deagle gets pulled off the boat from the fish, and he's like going through the water.
Yes.
That's a little wonky too.
Yeah.
But that's like
wonky.
a quick scene that's
not important.
kind of meaningless. Yeah.
Yeah, there's moments like that. I know in the deleted scene there is like the Witch King. I can't remember how he breaks Gandalf's spear, but he makes it like shatter.
Yeah.
And the effects on that are relatively, not great. Little things, dude. Little things where everything else just looks gorgeous. And oh my god, the fucking music in
like
this series just it makes all these moments to slap punch, dude. Oh
yeah. It's just perfectly scored. It's a similar thing with Star Wars where like, if it didn't have the soundtrack that it had, it would be a very different movie.
Speaking of Star Wars, there was a thought I had during the crowning ceremony in this that I thought to myself, I'm starting to see where some people might be a little mad at Star Wars, because Star Wars has the potential to be as good as The Lord of the Rings.
For sure.
We should expect it to. And the fact that we don't get it to that level, I don't need it to be that good, because it didn't start off that good. But I would be really happy to see something of that scale. That's why I really thought of those moments where like it seemed like Peter Jackson was calling to Star Wars, because it was like it evolved what Star Wars already did, and then Star Wars couldn't quite do that.
Yeah,
we deserve something epic and scale Star Wars style. That's all I'm saying. Not to get away from what we're talking about.
Right.
But
yeah, and we were talking about...
before I got into that, just the visual effects and how pretty everything looks.
Oh, well, one other thing I was going to say about the visual effects, I feel like the CGI in this looks better than a lot of the CGI in The Hobbit.
Oh, yeah.
Which was made way later.
Definitely. Well, it's because CGI... Here's the difference. The Hobbit movie was almost all made out of CGI.
Yeah, so there's a lot more.
In this, it was like, we're going to use mostly practical, and we'll just do a little filler work with CGI.
Right, and that's when CGI is really good, and it tends to hold up then.
You make a whole fucking movie that way. There's no budget that can support that amount of CGI for an entire film.
Break the hands of any VFX artist working on a movie with you.
That dog shit golden dwarf statue that melts onto Smaug in the second Hobbit movie.
Yeah, it looks like soup.
Looks like shit. And the worst thing is, didn't need to happen. Wasn't in the book.
No.
I digress. We're talking about Return of the King or Return of the King's Birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a worse movie.
Not Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
Which are fine.
They're worse, but they're fine.
But
they are objectively
worse than the best. In my opinion, every movie is worse than
That's
Return
true.
of the King. So what does that mean?
Good point.
Thank you.
Touché.
Nah, not really a touche, because...
Just a good point.
It's not like I was rebuting something you said.
Is that when we say touché?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Honestly, I might have been using it this wrong this whole time.
Yeah, I think when somebody like gets one back on you, you just go.
Oh, I thought it was just
Hey.
like good point.
Yeah.
I thought
Touche.
it was
Touche.
touche.
Yeah. Touche.
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 You know what that's from?
No.
Touche.
Shake it up.
Drake and Josh.
Drake and Josh. I knew
Josh's
it was a
dad thinks it's
Nickelodeon
touche.
show.
Yeah. What did you say?
Shake it up.
Oh, so yeah, not that old.
Yeah.
So, right. Touche. That's
Touche,
fun. I can't
yeah.
wait to leave that in for that. What else? Come on.
Do we want to talk about some of the violence?
Sure.
There's a lot of it.
Sure is. The whole movie, another thing I like about Return of the King, not the whole movie, but I would say 89% of this movie is just one big battle scene from beginning of end, which is the battle for Minas Tirith.
Which rightfully should be most of the movie since it's supposed to be like the culminating battle. It is strange that it's actually not the culminating battle, though. That's the final battle at the end, which Frodo has to win for the Alliance.
Right, yeah.
But the Alliance has to first sustain itself.
Yeah.
And prove that they're worthy to take over.
Defend. Yeah. And I think it's better that way. The ability to make most of the movie the Minas Tirith battle is just, there's just way more to work with than there was to like, let's try to make the Mordor battle that ultimately these people don't win. Frodo wins it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They needed to make that seem lesser, even though it was way bigger.
But that's definitely, it's interesting that that's like the end of the Siege of Minas Tirith is like the climax of the physical action that's going on. Because like there's other action scenes after that, but that's where like
So yeah, it's mostly mental.
peaks.
Yeah. You're watching now the story of Sam and Frodo.
Right.
Get this fucking ring up the mountain.
Right. Yeah. The rest is just stalling, literally.
So the movie, truly every scene makes you feel everything the scene wants you to feel.
Yeah.
From the lightest ones to the point where we're near the end of the movie, Sam and Frodo are just fucking a mile away from the door, and they've been through all this shit. You feel that fatigue. You feel just how done they are.
That's why I said to you while we were watching it, Sam put Frodo on his shoulders, that it looks like they're right there, but then it pans out and they're like still super far away.
Super
just
far.
to walk at least a mile.
With him on his back.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And they're already starving and exhausted and have been for days. And Sam's gotten beaten up and had to beat up Gollum
Yeah.
or Smeagol like a dozen times at this point.
They're fucking whooped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love, that's what I love about it. You as a viewer are entirely encapsulated by every feeling this movie wants you to feel throughout. You're this movie's bitch till the movie's over.
It plays you like a pan flute.
Like a pan flute. Yeah. Even when you least expect it, pan flute.
Yeah. So we established as we were watching this movie that the orcs are a musical people because they're proven
They're a band. They're a traveling band.
They're a traveling band. They're proven to have a penchant for percussion instruments. And we heard some brass in there as well.
Yep.
And we also came up with the theory that the pan flute that you hear throughout the entire movie whenever there's a hopeful moment that they're going to get out of this or that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that the pan flute player is actually also an orc.
I've actually created a even further backstory for all of this with this story as well. Just now, where the reason the orcs, the reason they're all subjugated to Mordor and they want to break out into the world, but that's why they're stuck there. It's where man led them because they didn't want to play the pan flute, and men were like, if you want to be a part of us, you have to play the pan flute sometimes, and they didn't want to, so they got sealed, the orcs, which is why they don't have a pan flute anymore.
Yeah,
there is still that one.
There's that one pan flute.
He's an outlier.
Orc.
He's a good orc. We already said. But the rest of the men in the orcs didn't see eye to eye about
the pan flutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of the people in Middle Earth were like, dude, pan flutes sell our music like 100%. We can't have our music without them. And orcs were like, you could though. Listen to this fucking drum solo, dude. Orcs are drummers. Orcs and drummers have a lot in common.
Big drum. Orcs and trolls, drummers.
Yeah.
Who thought the trolls?
The
had
trolls
a drum?
those trolls were.
They're drumming
They
away.
were the real drummers. Yeah.
Yeah. Though I guess orcs aren't. Or trolls are stupid, but they're not like an animal.
Yeah. They have intelligence.
You could talk. Yeah, you could talk to them.
Yeah. You can train them to do shit.
Like be a percussionist.
Right. Exactly.
In the band, in the orc band.
Exactly.
The Mordor mobiles.
The Mordor mobiles.
Mordor hits. I don't know. What's their band name be? The Mordor World Tour.
thinking like madness in Mordor. Mordor's wrath. No, you shouldn't get me going on this train. Yeah, so that was a fun little backstory that we created while watching. We had a lot of fun watching this. We made a lot of jokes throughout
Made a lot
it.
of jokes, made a lot of fake backstories for
Fake
people.
backstories for a lot of characters. That's the beauty of watching something so many times. You're so enriched in it that you know what's going on.
Yeah.
You can still watch it.
We're not going to offend each other if we talk during it because we all know what's going on.
Yeah.
If it's someone's first viewing, you can't talk.
Shut the
through it.
fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really love this scene where they go and get the ghosts. I think there's one portion of the plot I do want to get into where it's like, I think in a lot of movies, if something like the ghost just showed up and won the battle for them, you would be like, oh, what a fucking cop-out.
I was also thinking
But
that.
you don't feel that in Return of the King.
Yeah, for
because
some
it's
reason
a
it's
very,
satisfying.
You feel like you've earned this. Like,
Yeah.
Like, they don't just get these ghosts out of thin air and they save the day.
Right.
It's only due to the fact that, one, Aragorn is the king and has the bloodline of the king. The sword has been remade, which, not something that really takes place in the books either. But a fun way to play around with that plot line.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to build up to swords fixed, they go get the army. All this shit happens in the battle with Frodo in between. So you're just like, there are consequences to everything. And there's a reason why Aragorn was able to get the ghosts.
Yeah. And also has the added effect of, building suspense for the actual battle when Aragorn isn't there. Because, those are our three main guys who've been in every battle. And they're not going to be there for the final
most
battle.
of it, yeah.
Yeah, and the
You
morale's
almost
low.
forget about that. That scene works so well, too, because you kind of forgot about them.
Yeah.
Until they show up on the boats.
You see him threaten the Ghost King.
Yeah.
The Ghost King being shook, but you don't actually see his answer.
Right.
Yeah. And
What
then,
say you?
Right. Then it cuts to a new scene.
Yeah.
But then
And you don't see him again till they show up on the shore. So it's just like... And a lot of shit in this movie had taken place in the meantime.
yeah. And I know there's also the criticism of why wouldn't they keep the Ghost Army so they could kill Mordor and then let them go? But I'm
Doesn't
like,
work
no,
that way.
Doesn't work that way.
Does not work that way.
These are weird curses. You can't break them.
Wouldn't have worked that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Aragorn would have went back on that, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And he's not that guy.
He's not that
he's
guy.
more noble. That's why he's the king.
Yeah. They did their part. And also, that wouldn't be interesting if the Ghost Army just rolled over everything and destroyed Sauron.
Yeah. No. Lame.
Had to get rid of them
Yeah.
in a good, satisfying way.
Yeah.
They're released.
And then boom, tension's back on.
Right.
These guys are going to the Black Gate, the fucking darkest place we've heard of so far.
Right. Down a king, down a steward. They still have Gandalf. They got Aragorn.
Yeah.
But
the hobbits.
The hobbits.
Yeah. Then, what's left of their army. So yeah, it's something. It's great.
Yeah.
It's so great.
The final battle where they're outside of the Black Gates has it does a really good job with a sense of scale where you really feel how outnumbered they are. Because Minas Tirith, it looked like they were getting fucked up, but it looked like they had a lot of people still. But no, looking at the actual remainder of their forces,
not big.
They would not have lasted
long. And then
long.
that gate opens, and you just see how big the opening wave in Mordor is, and it's like, oh, this ain't good.
Yeah, they're going to get rolled over.
How will they ever survive? Samwise Gamgee's how they ever survive.
Yeah.
And a little bit Smeagol. No help from Frodo. Frodo's is a fucking toad.
I've always loved the theme of Lord of the Rings of how sometimes the biggest threat to a great power comes from the most unlikely places or the smallest places. And one of the whole reasons why they were successful is because they held a kind of power that Sauron couldn't recognize, and that was the power of friendship and love and perseverance. And because they're so tiny that
what does your heart tell you? Just full of that fucking rich nonsense that just works.
It just works.
Yeah.
It just works that obviously the great evil would be taken down by a gardener and his boyfriend.
Because why not?
Because why not? It's not the big cool king that has a final showdown with Sauron where they fight each other with swords and maces, or all the heroes.
They cut that shit out. They made something like that and said,
team up and fight.
No.
Yeah. Little hop of people you didn't even really consider existed or didn't care about.
Boom. Now you're bound to them by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Bitch. And then they just go back home, dude. Oh, I love the way this movie just kind of ends. It's so... Because we know it's not a it's not directly tied to World War II, but Tolkien is literally telling you how he feels about just going back to ordinary life after being involved in World War II by talking through Frodo being like, there's no going back. Like, you try to just go back to the normal life, and war, everything you've been through is with you forever. And I'm just like, dude, that's so fucking deep.
Yeah, it's like what Cosmonaut Variety Hour says. We're like, the entire movies, throughout all three of these movies, all the hobbits can think about are returning home. Like, they mention home in every movie
All the
pretty
time,
much.
yeah.
All the time.
My
Like,
favorite place in
want,
the world.
And once they're finally home, they realize that it's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
It's because they're different.
All of them just like at their bar together before Sam gets married. And it's a very somber...
Bittersweet.
It's bittersweet, absolutely.
Yeah, because
But
you
it's
realize
so
like,
real.
they're messed up.
Well,
Not
yeah.
in like they definitely all have PTSD, but like,
Yeah. Yeah. But nobody else that lives around them even is remotely aware of any.
or concerned, or yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they all it's a very knowing look
Yeah.
that they all give each other.
And then they hit the cheers. And even despite that, we're brought back into the positivity. Sam fucking, he's like, you know what? I've been through a lot of shit these past couple months. I'm going to talk to that girl. And they're all just like, the look on their face, like such boys. You know what I mean? Your boys are pumped for, what is he doing? And then it cuts, Sam's marrying her. And it's like, oh, hell yeah, he did.
Happy
Hell
ending.
yeah, he did.
He gets the happy ending
Yeah.
a protagonist deserves.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the girl,
Yes. Gets the happy
lives
life.
happily ever after.
Essentially.
He comes out the best out of everyone, pretty much.
As he deserves, because he did the most out of everyone.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom, Frodo. Carry your weight. Oh, wait, no. Sam's got it for you. Bitch. Thanks.
For those who don't know, Chase is an avid Frodo hater.
I don't like Frodo.
He does not like
fucking
Frodo.
sucks. I've made my point very clear about Frodo on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
A
Which I agree.
little better in the books. Still, not really.
I like Frodo. I don't have the same hatred for Frodo as you do.
Right.
But I agree with your points. He is a little bitch at times.
He sucks. He doesn't do much. Fucking Ring wears him, but we don't need to get into all of that because a lot of people do like Frodo, and I might come up as like a dickhead for not
That's
liking
true.
Frodo, but
Frodo is a good
I don't
character.
like him, and I'll stand by that.
He has to carry the burden of the
He
ring.
does. Somebody's
which
got to
sucks.
do it. Once again, book Frodo's a little less of a bitch, but
Frodo.
I'm talking strictly movie Frodo.
It makes sense when you realize. I never realized like Frodo is supposed to be in his 50s,
yeah, right, yeah,
so it's like it contextualizes that differently in the books because you're aware that he's like 55 years old.
right,
He's like,
yeah,
which is still young-ish for a hobbit, but
older than they look at the
but
movies.
still, he's lived on this earth for 55. Like it comes across more as like a master and servant relationship, like
Yeah.
a benevolent one.
yeah,
But like you
Not
can
like a
see
racist
the
one.
age difference and the respect difference there.
yeah,
And he talks more like an old man
yeah.
in the books.
Yeah. So, but I like to talk about him as movie Frodo because he's still not that great either way.
Yeah.
But what a bitch.
What a bitch, but Sam saves it because he's more of the true protagonist.
Yes. Yes, he is. He's my favorite character. Who's your favorite Lord of the Rings character?
Sam's up there. Legolas used to be my favorite.
Legolas used to be. Okay.
Like I mentioned earlier, I tend to play Archer characters a lot, and
Yeah.
I think it's because Legolas influenced me, because I thought Legolas was the coolest
Mm-hmm.
when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
But I do enjoy Sam's story arc
Mm-hmm.
way more, and like his character development,
Totally.
and like even I don't know, it's even tough to say character development because it's not like he had much to develop.
No,
of-
he just flaunts the character that he has.
yeah, it's more so just like he gets put into situations where he can, or his character
Yeah.
gets to shine.
His development is more you see him as a bumbling fool, but he's not really. He's actually quite loving and can kick ass when need be.
Yeah, it's more so your idea of him develops rather than like him as a character.
You see him
develops.
get over his arachnophobia,
That's true. He's
his
an arachnophobe.
his story arc from when he was just a boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody knows that.
everyone knows that about Sam.
About Samwise Gamgee.
Notorious arachnophobe. Can't stand him.
Mm-hmm. That's all the better
He
when
hates when they bark at him.
he overcomes Shelob.
Yeah.
Beautiful scene.
It's a beautiful scene. Like I said, it's my favorite scene in all the books.
But who is your favorite character then? Are you saying it's Sam or it used to be Legolas? Who is it now?
I would still have to say Sam.
You would say Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice. And we're on kind of the same page
Yeah.
then. Yeah, I think for me it would go Sam Aragorn. I like Aragorn a lot.
Aragorn's probably my third favorite.
Yeah.
I think Gimli's.
Would you say Legolas is now your second?
I'd say Legolas.
Okay. Cool.
I still think he's cool.
Oh, yeah, I like Legolas. Legolas used to be, I think before I liked Aragorn more, I was also a Legolas fan. But the older I got, the more I was just like,
I was just, for
Aragorn
some
kicks
reason,
ass.
I was always way more satisfied because it's not like Legolas has a huge character. Like he has interactions with Gimli, which are great. Which like I love that pairing, and like they both really enhance.
Their friendship's great.
They enhance each other's characters by their friendship development. But even just like watching his action scenes, because like those three always fight together, and like it always pans to like each of their fighting styles. I just got something a little more whenever I saw him fight, just because I think the creative ways of killing people with arrows that he comes up with
That's
just
true, yeah.
satisfied me a lot more than
yeah.
sometimes when like
Swinging a sword.
seeing Aragorn and Gimli just chopping people down,
Yeah.
even though that's still cool.
It sure is.
Yeah, but like just and like they obviously hammed it up, and later and like this he gets maximum superhero
Oh, yeah.
agility where
For sure, yeah.
he gets to do that where you're like, why don't they just bring the elves to everything if they can all do
Yeah.
this? But
This is just what one of them can do. Holy fuck.
right, but
Yeah.
to be fair, he is like one of
Mirkwoodian.
the elves. He's Mirkwoodian, and he's one of like
Murky.
strongest elves.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's an average elf.
No.
He's a very above average elf.
Yeah.
And elves in general are just better at most things.
That's fair, yeah. They're like better men.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They don't die.
Yeah.
Don't give birth a lot, though.
No.
That's kind of an issue.
Yeah. But I guess if you're not dying, unless you get killed, who cares?
Right.
Interesting. What a world they created.
Very interesting.
It shakes me to my core. I loved watching it. It had been over a year since I'd watched it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I don't
That's a
usually
while.
let that much time go between watches. I love that shit.
Yep. But no, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Best in the series, I'd say.
Yeah.
I like Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just something about. It's just this movie is just climax after climax after climax, and you don't feel tired. You just feel more pumped up each time.
Yeah.
Like it's like orgasming.
Like
The
I
movie.
said when we were watching it, I was like, this movie hits a point about half an hour in where you are just greeted with scene after scene after scene of something epic or awesome or just banger scenes for whatever reason until the movie's over. And it's after the fucking beacons are lit. There's this epic lit beacon scene.
Yeah. That's where everything.
And from
revs
that
up.
point forward, you're just like, oh, and you're in it.
Yeah. And that's why it doesn't feel like a 2.5 hour movie, because even though it's super long, the pacing manages to be really quick. Like the only time it really slows down is in between big fight scenes. And then like whenever they pan to Frodo and Sam, that's kind of like a reprieve. But besides that, like you're just zooming through it.
Yeah.
Everything's happening.
Yeah. Nonstop. For all the best of reasons. For all the best of reasons.
Did he reject Eowyn in this movie? No, was that in the second movie? I can't remember if he.
No, I think it is this movie. I think
Yeah.
it's Return of the King. Yeah, that is
Which-
this one.
that was always kind of a one-sided relationship.
Yeah, oh, totally.
I think she was reading into his noble gallantry too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, because it's when he leaves the camp, he tells her, like, my heart's like fucking, like, ain't not you.
Yeah.
He rejects her in a great way. You do
It's
almost
the
miss it, 'cause
nicest rejection I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
yeah, he's very subtle. Like I said, this is the movie that makes the fellas look really good.
Yeah.
You know guys were in charge of this because a girl is the character that gets friend zoned in this movie
Right. And they're
series.
like,
Take that, women that have friend zoned us. That's how it feels. Now you have to marry Faramir.
Faramir.
I
I don't think they show them getting married in the movies, do they?
No, they're just standing next to each other.
That's a book thing.
At Aragorn's, yeah, they're just standing next to you. Another thing, the movie definitely throws in little moments of stuff that's just like quick scenes to anybody just watching, but if you're a book reader, you're like, I see the depth in that quickness. Show, not tell.
Yeah.
You can appreciate it. Masterclass adaptation.
Even with explaining the Ghost Army, they did a good job.
Yeah.
And they explained that very little.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, there's this Ghost Army. You can get him. You can get him and use him. And we just accepted it as an audience, and it didn't feel hacky or
Feels
ass-pully.
like it very much belongs. I'm pretty sure that storyline, not from the books, but like, that's part of the lore.
It is part of the lore,
So like,
yeah.
it's fine. When you're pulling from shit that's there anyways, nobody cares.
Right, because the people who know are going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And the people who don't are going to say, oh, that's cool, because I didn't know the lore behind that for the longest time.
Because that's how those people have felt all 3 movies by this point. They're just like you when you were 7.
It's along for the ride.
It's the action.
Ready to see cool scenes.
Yep. Exactly.
And seeing the ghosts
layers this movie.
infect up that elephant and like take it down all in one swoop, all in the background. Awesome.
Oh, yeah, this movie has unforgettable movie visuals, and that is certainly one of them.
Yeah, just watch them eat
it's
it
so
like an
quick.
ant.
It's almost off screen too that it happens.
Yeah,
it's like matter of fact they eat an elephant.
Right, that they're just crushing. They just wiped out
because you know they're
everyone.
Yeah, so good, so good, so good, so good.
So when Carl Urban threw the spear at that elephant rider and speared him, do you think he planned for it to be that successful and have him pull the elephant down towards the other elephant and kill them both?
I'm telling you, he thought he was just going to kill that guy.
You thought he was just going to kill that guy?
It's kind of like how I play pool. You know, I'll shoot, and I'm just hoping to get 1 in, but sometimes something crazy happens, and I'll get 2 in just by, like, happenstance.
Yeah.
That's what that was like.
And you're like, damn, I'm
People
cool.
who saw that probably now think I'm pretty good at pool.
Yeah.
Au contraire. Physics gave me a boost.
Entirely not my intention.
But I'll always act like it is, and I'd like to hope he would too. When that happened, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm always knocking elephants over like
Right,
that.
that's
Fuck them."
Entirely according to plan. So I could take it out 2 elephants. How many elephants did you take out? Oh, by yourself, single-handedly?
It just, with barely any effort at all.
Yeah, very casually tossed the spear. Bullseye.
I mean, and he's like the leader of the Rohirrim.
Yeah, he's a great warrior.
Right, and you've already been told how great of warriors the Rohirrim are, so you can buy that, like,
Yeah, he's
maybe
one of the
top
best there.
one of them could do such a thing.
Pretty sure he's the one who takes over leading them after Theoden dies.
Yeah, I think you're right, because he's his nephew or something. He's his last, like,
His heir, yeah.
male heir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got to talk about Denethor. We got to talk about Denethor. How can we talk? That's another thing. We're talking about Return of the King. We're forgetting some of the most important topics.
Yeah, other titular character, Denethor.
Denethor. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. What a guy.
What a guy.
What a campy Saturday morning villain that just fits and
Campiest
works.
performance
Fits
in the
and
whole
works for some reason.
movie. Yeah, but works. Like, it's not, like, it
This guy
achieves-
sucks dick.
Yeah, it does exactly what the movie wants you to. The movie makes you feel exactly how it wants you to feel about him. That he sucks.
Yeah.
And it does that. And he is campy and weird, but also interesting.
Yeah.
And I mentioned when we were watching that, I thought movie Denethor kind of got the short end of the stick. Because book Denethor, even though he is also crazy and bad and selfish, he is a bit more noble in certain ways. And it's also made clear that, like, he is to a powerful guy that has controlled Gondor since however long in the absence of the king, and that he's actually at least somewhat of a match intellectually with, like, the other big players in this world. Like I mentioned in the book.
Yeah, not represented in this movie at all.
Not represented in this movie. He's a coward. He sucks. He doesn't listen to his advisors. He makes really crazy decisions. Like, he's been off his rocker ever since we met him.
From the moment we meet him, yeah. It's post. Because Boromir and Faramir talk about him in the other 2 movies, and you get that, like, at some point in time, this guy was noble.
Yeah, they have great love for their father, but when you actually meet the guy,
Yeah. By that point, he was wrecked. His son had died. They cut out the character regression of him that they show in the books.
Yeah.
And just show him like that.
Just
So
show him
with
that he sucks.
Theoden, like, as soon as
We don't have
when
time.
you meet Theoden in person, he's fucked up. You know what I mean?
He was the same way.
Yeah. So you get that same kind of thing, except the difference is he dies this way.
And I think what also isn't really communicated well in the movie about him is that it's kind of implied in the books that he is being influenced by Sauron because he uses the Palantir. Or I don't know if necessarily he's influenced by Sauron, but more so he is using the Palantir to spy on Sauron and sees how strong he is, and, like, kind of had this paranoia and like this desire for the ring because he genuinely does care about Gondor and wants to protect it and his sons. But then the death of Boromir kind of made him crazier, and, like, he just got more paranoid and his mental health declined a lot. And that's when he started to make more irrational decisions. But yeah, in the books, in the movie, he just sucks.
For a movie that's already really big, they were like, we don't have time to pay to
Which,
that.
yeah,
Cut
it's
it down.
totally fair.
Yeah.
It still works with what they gave us.
Yeah.
It's just, then
If you want more story behind this guy to see why people even dug him in the first place, just read the books.
yeah, read the books. That's like a bit more charitable representation of his character, even though he's not a very important character. At the end of the day,
Dies all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just funny for this. Eats
he's
tomato, juices spit out. he's just so disgusting. He's disgusting.
he's gross.
Yeah. He goes. Gandalf kicks his ass twice.
Yeah.
Slaps his bitch ass with the spear.
Yep, we're not meant to take him seriously at all.
And then he just dies. Dies a cool scene. Runs off that
Also
tip of
funny
Minas
scene.
Tirith. Yep. On fire.
He's just on fire.
It's
and
funny
runs off the
and
cliff.
epic, and it's a lot of things. There
Yeah.
are multiple scenes in this movie that many emotions just mix together in.
You mentioned how they kind of had to have the horse kick him in the face onto the fire, so
Dude,
it's not like
that
Gandalf
fucking
directly
horse,
murdering him.
Yeah. Because
This
the horse
crazy
kick
guy,
to your
mentally
chest
ill
like
man.
that and head. I'm imagining. I picture it hit him chest head. You know the way the legs hit. That motherfucker would be dead
Yeah.
from that alone. But that
Can't
makes
survive
Gandalf look like a
full
murderer.
force, because the horse is not gonna like hold back on its.
Didn't
hoof
look
kick.
like it at all. Not the way that film scene threw him flying in the air into a fire pit.
Yeah,
And he just
from the
gets
face.
up. Just gets up. Like,
No blood.
he's actually seeing his son alive. So now that he's got kicked in the face by the horse, it's almost like it knocked some sense into him. Where really, it should have just killed him. But
Right.
because, you accept that things that really would happen don't really always happen in this world.
Because
He
it's
lights on
Hollywood.
fire, and he gets up and runs off the cliff.
Yep, and we got a much more epic scene because of it.
Better than just dying by horse kick. But
Right, just
I would
his dad
accept
caved
it.
in.
I would take it, but it would make my feeling toward it all just very different.
It would be such a tonal shift of the movie to have, because like it's violent, but like most of the violence is committed against orcs, and even then, it's not like we don't see people get their arms chopped off or anything. We see heads
Mm.
and shit, but it's light on the gore side. But just suddenly have like this character have his skull caved in and see that.
by a horse.
Yeah.
And we're all just like, all right, let's get out of here. And Gandalf did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why decisions were made to be like, just make him run off the cliff. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
instead of him, dive by fire of his own making.
Yeah, sins of thy father. So yeah, I just had to touch on that. I don't know if there's a whole lot of honorable mentions, I guess, real quick before we leave.
Yeah.
You got the killing of the Witch King scene, also pretty dope.
Amazing scene.
Yeah.
I should have added that to my.
Yeah, that's a great
Favorite
scene.
scene
Great
list.
scene.
I mentioned
Mary
during the movie.
weakens him. I am no man.
I just want to reference for people who may not know that that's like or like he got inspiration from Macbeth for that scene, because in Macbeth, I think it's Macduff or someone. There's some guy who has a prophecy about him who basically says no man born from a mother's womb can kill him.
When you said that during the movie, I knew that about this scene. I thought you meant when it was, because it took place, like, you said it like after Gimli was like, still only counts as one, or something about their killings.
Yeah.
I think there was just some time, and then I took that as that, and I was just like, I do not see how this connects to Macbeth at all. Dude.
No, I meant
Yeah,
meant
that makes.
the
I
whole
did know
prophecy
that. I
thing.
did know, but I'm sitting
Yeah.
there like thinking of Macbeth, like, why?
Yeah.
But I was also paying attention for Aragorn to kill that one dude, so I just kind of shook my head no when you said it.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, we were trying to find the orc general, or we were trying to see the orc general's death, because you mentioned that you don't
I
remember
don't
ever
think
seeing
I
him die.
still don't.
So I'm
I didn't
wondering if
see it.
that was an extended edition add-on that I'm just.
I've only have
remembering.
Yeah, I've seen the extended edition, but not as much.
But I distinctly remember in my mind seeing seeing that guy like
Get killed.
running or something.
Yeah.
Like he might have even been trying to attack Eowyn, and Aragorn just like coming out of frame really quick and just like chopping off his arm and like chopping his head
We're
off.
gonna
and,
look into this.
and continuing to
'Cause
fight.
I
other
don't
orcs.
remember it at all.
Yeah,
I've
it
seen
was
this
really
movie a
quick. Like he
fuck
he
ton.
dies quick.
If it's a quick thing, then I still stand by my point. Then though, it's like it's either it doesn't happen at all, and it's like, oh, that guy seemed pretty big to not even show his death, but then to show it so much that you could miss it. Me, a guy who's seen this movie
Yeah.
a bazillion times, doesn't think he's ever seen it. That's pretty off,
That's odd. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. If it is a lead scene thing, that's even worse, because I'm just like, just show him die then, because he's he's not a big character. We don't know his name.
He does have a name. I looked it up.
Yeah,
I forget what it is.
Yeah,
but...
I don't know it right off the top of my head. But, when he does die after you've seen him be in charge and, be a fuck the whole time, you want to see him die.
Yeah, he's the ugliest fucking orc we've seen, and that's saying something. Fucking cancer on his face or something.
But we kind of jumped off what we were originally talking about was the Macbeth scene for the Eowyn.
Yeah, the whole
scene.
Eowyn, like, I am no man thing to get around the prophecy. Like, that's all from Macbeth. Because I think it was Macduff said, no man born of a woman can kill me.
Right. Yes.
But then, like, the guy who kills him was born through cesarean section.
Yes. Right.
So it's like loophole.
And you believe, like, it didn't feel like, women can do stuff too.
No, it didn't feel cheap.
It worked.
It felt very earned.
Mm-hmm.
It was with a character that we like. Like, she's not annoying at all, even though if it was done by, like, someone different, it could potentially be annoying.
Yeah.
No, it's just seen as, like, a really great scene.
Right. Saves her uncle. And, I mean, even Mary helps a little. He stabs the Witch King to, like, weaken him a little.
Mary gets the assist.
Mm-hmm. Great scene. So that's an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Do you have an honorable mention of a scene before we tackle off?
Oh, honorable mention. Honorable mention, I would just have to say the scenes where the beacons get lit. Mainly because I just like to think about the logistics of it all. Having to maintain...
Right, yeah, we did talk about that.
That huge chain of beacons where you have to have probably at least 2 guys watching it at all times. I'm assuming they'll do it in shifts. But some of these are located directly on top of peaks of mountains where there's no discernible way of how people get up there, let alone live up there.
Yeah, we kind of started creating backstories for them while we were watching the scene today.
Right, because that would be the best day of their life.
Yeah.
Where they actually do the thing that they were assigned to do.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh yeah, dude, like that. The way Aragorn looks when he sees it is how each and every one of those people looked when they first started. They're like, oh my fucking god. Psyched. And like we joked about, like the guy that day, I was like, what happened yesterday? No, I missed that. Fuck.
They're not going to light the beacons again for another 20 years.
At the very least, they saved the world at the end of it.
There's no threats
There's
left.
Nothing else to fight.
We got to maintain these beacons, though.
Wow. Do love the beacon scene. I feel like we could probably say something a little more, maybe not on a direct scene, but on just Sam, Frodo, and Gollum.
Yes.
Just that whole story arc.
The cursed trio.
Ah, yes. Each wanting something from the other, but each needing something from the other.
Yeah. Shaky alliance.
Smeagol Gollum Smeagol, he says out loud pretty early in the movie that he's going to kill these motherfuckers. And Sam doesn't just hear, like, it's not one of those things that Sam could be like, maybe I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
He hears an entire
Sam
murder
100%
speech.
hears everything and attacks Smeagol. And then Frodo asks him to spare him because they still need him to get to Mordor, which fair, but Frodo still refuses to believe Sam, even though Sam has been nothing but supportive.
Best friend ever made.
The best friend ever to Frodo this entire time. But again, that also is probably because the actors look similar in age, when in reality in the books, Frodo's like decades older than Sam. So it still kind of makes sense that he's like stubborn and won't listen to a younger guy.
Yeah.
But I guess the whole point of this movie is to show how the ring is starting to drive a wedge between Frodo and Sam. And the only reason why it can't fully do that is because Sam is so persistent and has that hobbit resilience that the ring knows that he won't be able to survive if Sam's still there.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it knows it has to get Sam out of the way, just
so
as
it's like
Gollum does.
Building up Frodo's mistrust of Sam.
Yeah.
Even though Sam's not done anything to earn that.
The ring's a dirty dog. The ring is a dirty dog. But Sam's resilience to friendship and what he'll do for it is just as strong, if not more powerful, than the influence the ring has on a person.
It overpowers the ring at times. It's even mentioned, well, it's shown in the movies, but mentioned in the books. We actually get to see more of Sam's inner dialogue when he gets the ring from Frodo, initially when he thinks Frodo's dead from Shelob's attack. And the ring tries to seduce him with the idea of being like the best gardener ever in the world that'll have like a gigantic garden. And Sam like understands that this is
some
all
bullshit.
And bullshit, and that he kind of conquers the ring in that way. Not conquer it, but like it can't influence him in the same way.
Like the way it wants to, yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the heart of Mordor.
Even, at the seat of its power.
What a G unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just an interesting watch the whole way through. They do the
For
classic.
sure. And it's all held together by Sam.
Yeah.
Gollum is very interesting where you hate him, but you still
Like him.
like him because he adds that conflict element. And then you also realize at the end, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been able to do it
Yep.
because Sam's not going to push Frodo in the lava, and Frodo would have snuck out of there, probably been captured by Sauron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because Gollum gave his life to get that fucking ring that the world has saved even at all. Beautiful. Honestly. Poetry.
He saves the world but cannot save himself.
And he, trying to do the reverse. He doesn't,
Right, he was doing it for selfish reasons, but it led to his own destruction as well as the destruction of the ring.
I do like the visual of the final scene where Sam's holding Frodo up in the lava pit and telling him, just reach! You see, like, the ring still has power over Frodo. Like,
Yeah.
Frodo's considering jumping in, and they make a really smart choice to, like, they show the ring, like, on that lava plume. It hasn't quite been destroyed yet.
It's still there.
And he reaches for Sam's hand. He makes the decision to say, fuck you to the ring
And that's what it...
just before it gets destroyed. So it's not like, if you reverse those scenes, that's a very different thing for Frodo. But knowing that Frodo did overcome it in the final moments and reach for Sam, big. I'll give him, that's a big moment for Frodo. For a loser like
Right.
Frodo. But cool. I like it.
But yeah, he chooses friendship
And life
and life,
over this thing.
even though he knows that it'll never be the same.
Bittersweet. Bittersweet ending to Lord of the Rings. That's how you land a bittersweet.
Yeah. It's not too bitter, not too sweet.
It's right in between.
Yep.
Good cup of coffee.
We'd call that bittersweet.
Yep. Hence why we said bittersweet.
Yep. Just to clarify. Meaning not too bitter, not too sweet.
You think our shitters are stupid? Do you not have faith in the shitters? They've
course
come
I
with
do.
us this far.
It's true. It's true.
They know what bittersweet is because they've watched this podcast. Sometimes we have bittersweet endings.
Do we?
We're about to. I don't ever want to see your stupid face in this house again.
Too bitter. Just a bitter
Too bitter.
ending.
Yeah,
It's not very sweet.
you're right. You want to try it?
I don't want to see you right now, but perhaps
Too bad. I'm right here.
later.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Bittersweet.
Ugh.
So you have any other closing thoughts?
You know I have billions more.
We have plenty more.
But we
But
have
they all make sense.
we have been on Just Lord of the Rings now for an hour and 14 minutes.
That's respectable.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot to call her Clipsy Daisy.
For sure. Well, shitters, thank you for being on this journey with us.
It's been a delight. We're really liking this setup where we'll sit here and watch a movie mid-podcast and come in and talk about it.
Yeah, it's working for us, I think.
Yeah. So, we won't always do this. This won't always be what we talk about on the show, but it has become a running theme that I think we're going to do more often than not.
For
so
sure.
Look out for more of that.
Just more. Yeah, we just need more big blockbuster things to come out
Yeah.
we can watch.
But we're having fun on the side while we're doing it.
Yeah, doing our own old stuff.
So don't forget to follow Nerd Shit in the Dark on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those places.
Yep.
We're putting out episodes. I think with this episode, I am going to officially announce that we are going to shift the schedule a bit. And we will have episodes out every other Thursday. Boy needs a little more time in the editing room because getting it out Tuesday has been a little rough on me.
Yep.
So we're going to switch to Thursdays, every other for now. Coming up, we are going, the episode after this, we are going to close off our Step Up saga.
That's true. With the Avengers.
We're gonna have Amber on. We're gonna watch High School Musical, the musical, and then
The Avengers of Step Up, I mean.
Step Up 5,
Yeah. Where they all team up.
and talk about all of that. So that's something to look forward to in the weeks to come. So we did say that was a goal for 2023. The episode will release in 2024, but know that we still recorded it just on the end tail. We'll
Yep,
get it right in
counts.
the end of 2023. So we did it. Thanks for sticking out with us for that one.
Yep.
I think that's all I got. So, nerdshitinthedark@gmail.com. If you have shit that you want us to try or look into to talk about on the show, send an email to that email. I'll check
we
it
would
out.
love to see it.
Oh my god, it's cool that we have time to come up with our own shit to get into and talk about. If people want us to talk about certain things, I will try things out and
That would
come
be
on here
cool.
and talk about them. So just saying, movies, books, TV shows,
Anything.
games. Let us know. We'll
Porn.
fucking talk about them. Porn.
Not porn. Don't send
Don't
us
send
porn.
porn. No, please, thank you.
Don't do it.
We don't want it.
Yeah.
We don't want it. But anything else? Yeah. So, what do you say, hey, Braden?
What do you say, hey, Chaz?
I say it's time you and I get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's time for you and I to lickety-split it on out of here.
Lickety split splat sploot. We're kicking the boot and we're leaving the house
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
I don't know what else to say
Me
to
neither.
the shitters before we don't see them till after Christmas. So Merry Christmas,
Merry
guys.
Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. We missed that.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Boxing Day. All those things coming up.
Yep.
It's great. Whatever holiday you celebrate, dude, have a good time with it.
Yep. And bless you.
Bless you all. And to all,
A good
a
night.
good night. And don't let the shit bugs bite.
There we go.
Boom. Found it. Bye.